Good afternoon, everyone. This is Matt over at WallStreetLiveChat.com. Just want to take a look at Google today. We're going to start out on the 15-minute chart for the last few days, so we can analyze what trend has taken place here. Google's starting to fall apart. Okay, if you look at these bottom lines on the 15-minute, this support right here broke in the last hour of trading on Friday. It tried to come up at about 3:15, then 3:30, and it just couldn't pierce this support right here. The other thing that took place that triggered all these sell signals is the trend line. Trend line off the bottom over here has been broken. Okay, so let's take a look here. You have the bottom here, here, and here. So the conviction to create that sell was after it broke this. Okay, now you have a sell trigger in place. Now with this sell trigger in place, what's next? Well, if we look on the 15-minute chart real quick to see where our last lows were, that's pretty solid right there, right around the 807.23 to 808 area. Looks like there's it looks like that's the next support level, but there's really not much support there. Okay, if you notice, let's change this over to a daily now. Alright, on the daily, old support was way back here. We discussed this quite some time ago. If you notice, Google's been pretty much around the 50-day hanging out, and especially in the last this past year, any dips came down and hit the 50-day, which there was only one. This one here came close, but not really. So you get to the lower cloud, and then it bounces and gaps up the next day. So we'll plan that out for a trade. The only thing, there's something else going to play a role in this. The earnings are on, I believe, the 28th. I could double check that, but see what that is. Now, if you look here, we have a large gap back here, and the price point for that gap to be filled is going to be 704. All right, so that's a ways away from the 810 where it is right now. So it's going to need a little more juice to get below that. But just know that it's there. But if you match up this bottom line here, and it's pretty close to the 50-day, and it's also the low end of the cloud. Okay, so we're already in a sell signal. So it's going to be heading down. We know that by going by the 15-minute chart, it broke the trend. So where does it go from here? And how long is it going to take? Well, we're going to come down to this area here. Okay, that's a gimme. Will it hold? That's going to be the key. Now, if you're playing options, my suggestion is you'll be up big when it gets down over here. Now, what do you do at that point? Well, peel off what you invested and go for the gold. And the gold would be, in this area. Okay, 90% of the stocks fill the gaps. You look at ISRG, we did that one huge. That came down and dropped exactly like we were saying. Granted, news played a role, but who knows? Something. There's always a catalyst that'll move these to those locations. So whether the outlook for Google is bad, whether they miss by 0.0, a penny or whatever, the market will take a pounding on it, as you can see from other earnings. So here's what I'm looking for the trade. Okay, we have time. The RSI right now on the daily is right around 60, so we have plenty of room. The drop from here so far took about 2 weeks, which was about $30. So if we go 2 weeks from now and go from 810 down to the 60 area, you have all this support here. There's a potential for that. So if everything falls into place the way it could, we'll probably get a bounce in this area over here, in this area right over here. Okay, it might come up and hit its head, depending on how high. It might hit its head back up over here, but I think the general trend right now, until we have a trend line broken to the upside, is still on the downside. Okay, so there's your support. You have this support with your 50-day, so you could pretty much bank on getting this 50-day. If we get outside of the cloud and under the 50-day, it could get ugly. It definitely could get ugly and come down to the location of the 200-day, because by the time this gets over here, the 200-day will be over here somewhere, and this gap fill. So that's what I'm looking for a long-term matchup, is these two connecting over here before we get a big solid bounce on it. Apple's heading up. We called that perfect on 2 weeks ago when it was at the 424 area. And what we anticipated it was going to take place, and so far, it's doing really well. I said I was aggressive on it, and I gave you the reasons why. And mainly, it was all technical. And here we are in a technical trade again with Google. You have a little bit of support here and there and everywhere, but if Google has earnings coming up, people are going to lock in their profits. It's been going up huge, as you can see, for the 12 months here. You come back to June of over here, and you're up 593 to say 600. You're up $210 if this was, you were buying in this accumulation zone right here. All right, so I mean, granted, Google's a powerful company, but you know what? People like profits. You draw out these trend lines off the bottom here. You can use this one, or what I would do is you have a bottom here, and a bottom here. So let's erase these other ones. Okay, let's get rid of all this stuff, and let's match. Let's get rid of the eraser. Let's come over here. Let's use this trend line where the bounce off the 200-day was. Come up, follow that bottom there. Okay, so anywhere in this area, I mean, like I said, you're going to look for this pullback right here to the 50-day. If he punches under that, this will be your support for a bounce. Okay, for a good size bounce. So it'd be a nice scalp trade. Okay, but the general trend, is still in the downslope. Okay, we've created this peak here, just like here. Okay, so needless to say, looking at a month or so, a month out, I think we're going to come down and fill this lower gap and be nice and comfortable before deciding what to do next, right around the $700 range. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. So until next time, I'll do another video update very shortly on this one. So until next time, we'll see you over at wallstreetlivechat.com. Have a good one.